Hello everybody. Today we're going to analyze the look of Wes Anderson's movie Asteroid City, and we'll look at the key characteristics of this look and try to emulate it. The director, Wes Anderson, is known for his bold creative decisions. Think of movies like The Grand Budapest Hotel, Moonrise Kingdom, etc. Asteroid City was shot on film on Kodak Vision 3 200T 5213 for the color parts of the movie. Obviously, the production design and the costume design departments have played a massive role when it comes to obtaining the look and feel of this movie. However, with the footage that we've got today, which you will see is a bit different, we'll try to get close at emulating the vibe of this movie. To give you a quick teaser, we're going to turn this into that. So stay tuned to see how we get there. Okay guys, so today we're going to dive into the Asteroid City look. And I have a couple of references, and we can see already that there are very inherent characteristics to this look. Overall, we've got a very soft contrast. We can see detail everywhere. We can see detail in our shadows. There's not very bright highlights. Our overall ceiling is quite low when it comes to our highlights. We have some warmth in our highlights, as we can see here and on our parade. We've got an elevated black point as well, and it is tinted cyan, as we can see in this character's beard, for example. Our parade is confirming that, and overall we're leaning towards like yellow greens, but our skin is quite red, actually. For our skin, we can see it in this reference as well. Our blues tend to go cyany. This could be from the art department, right? That car could probably be looking close to that color, but the sky, we can suppose that the sky was real. We can suppose that that blue was rotated towards that hue, basically. But yeah, skin, it's a good indicator. Contrast, highlights, shadows. We're gonna see what we can do about that. And today it's going to be quite challenging, actually, because the shots that we're working with, I'm gonna show you. Shot number one, okay, so that's a girl laying on the beach on a towel with a book. Then we have a couple chilling on the sand, and we've got a little girl on the beach playing ball. The three shots are from a red camera, but for each shot it's a different red setup, so they were not shot in the same location, and we're gonna try and make our look travel to those three shots. And trust me, it's going to be a challenge, but I love challenges, and look development is what I love to do the most in grading. So yeah, let's go about it. It's going to be fun. First of all, I'm going to create a very simple node tree because I need to place these shots in the ballpark in order for them to receive my look. So exposure, white balance, and I'll keep a third node for whatever if we need it. Regarding our color management, guys, we're set up exactly like in the previous video, so go check it out if you haven't already. So let's start with this one, and I'm going to go to my first node, going to my HDR wheels, and I'm going to lower my exposure, and I'm looking at the skin. I'm trying to kind of, yeah, just ballpark level of exposure. There you go. This shot, again, using my HDR global exposure, just lifting it up a little bit, and this one as well. I'm gonna lift it up slightly like that. Okay, color balance. So before the shots receive my look, I want to put them in a decent place, because I don't really want my global look to impart a very warm push, like in the mids. So I want to basically prep my footage in order for the look to properly apply to it. So in my primaries, using my offset, I'm going to warm my white balance in a similar place in terms of just, I would say, warmth, and I don't want to kill saturation in the deal. So I could go very red, but I don't want to. I just want to mimic what it would be if I would change the Kelvin in my camera, for example. So something like that. Yeah, so I'm gonna grab a still, and then I'm going to go to my other shots. I'm gonna go to this one, and I'm going to just make them line up when it comes to the overall white balance. And this one finally. Yeah, it's very green, I know, but you'll see why I'm doing that later. Okay, there you go. Now we're ready to start creating the look. So first I'm going to work on contrast. I have a preset here that with a contrast curve with my middle point here, where it's anchored on middle gray. So I don't really want it to move if I can. And let's start with this shot, because when I pull my ref, let's pull it here, okay. So when I pull my ref, I can see that the white on my ref here, which is reflective white, well, on my shot, it sits a lot higher. It sits at the top of the container, where here it's a lot lower than controlled. So I want to emulate that and that global soft contrast and compression in the shadows. So let's go about it, okay? I'm doing it by eye, also looking at my scopes. So compressing my white point, elevate the blacks, and add some compression and roll off to my blacks. Something like that for now is going to be good. Okay, so we've got our contrast foundation. Then I'm going to pre-pen the node, and in node number 2 I'm going to add some saturation in. There's multiple ways that you can add saturation, so I could do it with my sat vsat curve, and actually it's going to be a bit weak, so let's change to HSL. HSL is a color space, okay, and the S channel is my green channel. I'm going to go into my primaries and I'm going to lower my luma mix to 0, and this will make sure that the RGB channels do not compensate for one another. I just want them to work independently from one another. So then I'm going to go to my green gamma and I'm going to raise it, and that will increase saturation in that space. Good. And I'm trying to go like ballpark level of saturation. Let's not fuss too much about it for now, because we'll probably refine it later. Okay, good. I'm happy with that for now. And I'm going to label this node saturation. Let's clean up the node graph. Okay, and I'm going to pre-pen the node, and I'm going to call that hue. So in my HSL curves, I'm going to try and, especially that shot, because we've got more anchors. Look, we've got some skies, we've got some skin tone, and we've got some sand, some blues, and this gives us a really nice context. Overall, although I feel like we're gonna probably have a problem with the sand, because this sand, I wouldn't be surprised if it were some reddish sand, because the sand on this beach is quite yellow-green, and I believe naturally this sand was probably redder originally. So we'll see what we can do. Let's try and not necessarily get a one-to-one match, but let's try and get the vibe going. So I'm gonna go to my hue versus hue, and I'm going to just rotate my skin so that it's going redder, basically. Like that. Okay, I'm happy with that for now. And I'm gonna pick my reds and I'm going to go... Actually, our skin is living around here. So I want to put an anchor point here, and now I'm going to pick my reds and just rotate them towards oranges a little bit. And that will, you see in my vector scope right here, we're creating some compression. And we've got that going in our reference. So there you go, we're a lot closer already, right? With just 3 nodes. Okay. I like that. I like where this is going, guys. I'm happy. When it goes this well, it's perfect. Okay. And in terms of the blues, I don't really... Yeah, I'm not gonna do anything to the blues at the moment. I'm happy with that. Yeah. And now I'm gonna go and work on my split tone. So let's clean up the node graph again. And let's append a serial node. Boom. And I'm gonna look for my preset for split tone. And this is a split tone with an anchor point sitting in mid-gray. And I love to use curves. It gives me so much control, and when you have a Wacom like me, you know, a tablet, a pen, it's so good. So let's go about it, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So first I'm going to go to my primaries. I'm going to lower my Lumamix down to 0. And then it's my preferred way to work. You don't really have to do that. It's just that I don't necessarily want each channel to compensate for one another. Let's open my RGB curves and let's go about it. Let's go and subtract some reds. To contaminate my blacks. Yeah. Let's spin this portion. I wanna actually, I just wanna my mid-gray to be polluted a little bit with that red subtraction, just slightly. I think this could help. Yeah. I feel like this is helping. And then I'm going to go and look at my whites and see, like on my image, my whites are setting a bit cool. And on my ref, they're a lot warmer. The paint could originally be a little bit warm, but I feel like we need to increase the warmth a little bit. So let's go and do that. Subtract some blues in the highlights. And add a bit of reds. I'm trying to get the vibe here. It's not about nailing it perfectly. It's just I would like this look to travel decently well for those 3 shots, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I mean, look, it's getting close. We're getting closer to what is going on. Yeah, obviously we don't have black skin tones on our ref, but I like where this is going. And yeah, actually, depending on the ref, the sand can go a little bit different. So I'm just going to be careful, be mindful about that, and just not warm my sand too much. But I definitely want those reddish skin tones. Something like that, and in terms of sat, I'll probably have to just crank it a little bit further. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Cool. Okay. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. Now I'm going to lower probably my exposure on the clip level. Told you guys, this is some kind of a dance that sometimes you've got to do. Yeah. And get a bit denser. And Asteroid City was very front lit, as you can see. There's not much shadows here, and we've got some shadows, so we need to take that into consideration. Yeah. And okay. There we go. Yeah, guys, I think for an overall look, it's looking pretty good. But I think it's working pretty well for what it's supposed to do. Yeah, guys, so look at that. So that's after the look, that's before. Look at that. Before, after. Before, after. Let's go to this shot. Before, after. Look at that. Before, after. The vibe is definitely here. Before, after. Before, after. Okay. Now let's do something about the texture. Clean up the node graph. I'm going to prepend 3 nodes. I'm going to reduce my midtone detail in my primaries to get a softer overall feel. And call this node MD, midtone detail. I'm gonna add a bit of blur. I'm doing this by eye, guys. And after a while you sort of like develop a feeling for that. And here I'm going to add some sharpening. Just a little bit. Gonna add some grain in this node. Over YouTube, you might have some trouble to see it, but I'm just gonna go 35 mil. I'm gonna go grain strength. I'm going to crank it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There we go. So I'm gonna create a compound node, call this look. And let's go. Okay, so before. Look at that, look. What a difference. Come on. After. Before. After. Before, after. Before, after. Before, after. This shot just, I think, needs some primaries a little bit. So I'm gonna bring my lift down slightly. Like so. There you go. There you go. Look at that. Before, after. Look. Come on.
Alright guys, that's it for today. I hope that you've liked this tutorial as much as I've enjoyed making it. Please leave a like, comment down below, let me know about future topics you'd like me to cover. Follow me on Instagram, send me some love, DM me there. And of course, do not forget to subscribe to the channel to not miss future updates. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.